Hasn't given up on the issue of Iraq, at least as a topic of discussion. The foreign ministers of France and Germany today said it was illegal for the Bush administration to remove Saddam Hussein from power. And Russia today maintained there is no proof Iraq poses a threat to the United States. Those countries are now in an isolated minority. International support for military action against Iraq is growing. Kitty Pilgrim has the report.
The coalition of the willing is breaking through the record of support set back in the 1991 Gulf War. Secretary of State Colin Powell yesterday named 30 countries who back U.S. action, adding that 15 more countries offered support but did not want to be named. Today, more countries stepped forward off of the anonymous list: Honduras, Singapore, and Portugal.
The most significant aspect, I think, of this international coalition, which now includes 45 nations in total, is that it includes actually 18 European countries, including the vast majority of the new European nations of Central and Eastern Europe. So quite clearly, France, Germany, and Russia, the main opponents of military action in Europe, are actually in a minority position.
One of the first supporters of U.S. military action was Britain. Prime Minister Tony Blair, after impassioned pleas to his government this week, swept the vote in Parliament, 412 to 149. Spain's Jose Maria Aznar was another early supporter, rallying more than a dozen European countries to the U.S. position. Now, other leaders are stepping forward, including Japanese Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi, even though Japan, by its constitution, cannot participate in military action. State Department spokesman Richard Boucher said countries would participate even if it was in a non-combat role.
They may just be allowing access, overflight, or other participation in that way.
Poland has said it would commit 200 non-combat troops. The Netherlands will contribute 3 Patriot missile batteries and 360 men for the defense of Turkey. The Czech Republic and Slovakia have sent 400 anti-chemical warfare specialists, and Bulgaria offered 150 troops specializing in chemical decontamination. South Korea said it would consider sending non-combat troops as well. The number of supporters has been growing by the day, with many countries jumping on the list at the last moment. Many experts say it could expand to 50 nations very shortly, with the addition of countries from the Arab world and also from Asia. Lou?
And Kitty, it's worth putting this in context. 45 nations in the coalition of the willing. In 1991, how many nations in that coalition?
There were 38. And so we're well advanced from that, and they do expect many more to jump on.
It's remarkable the number of columnists who continue to talk about the isolation of the United States on the issue of Iraq, with that number of people joining this coalition.
Willing to support on the record, and numbers don't lie.
Kitty, thank you very much. Kitty Pilgrim. Just ahead, tens of thousands of U.S. and British troops are now gathered in Kuwait, preparing to advance across the Iraqi border. Wolf Blitzer is in Kuwait City. We'll have the very latest from Wolf. Former CIA analyst Ken Pollack will be here to discuss Iraq's possible retaliatory plan, including a special look at 2 of Saddam Hussein's most faithful allies, his sons. And protecting our borders, stepped-up efforts well underway. We'll tell you how they're working. We'll have a special report from our borders with Canada and Mexico. Stay with us.
Are you in on it? Go to the new cheaptickets.com with new fare search technology for lower prices than ever. Or call now for new travel deals on hotels, cars, condos, and vacation packages. Now, there's one travel site that charges no online booking fees. Save $5 to $10 per person. Cheap Tickets, the best kept secret in travel.
News doesn't stop for the weekend, and neither do we. CNN brings you the story live, anywhere news happens. Real reporting from home,
CNN Washington,
or a world away.
CNN Islamabad.
As the largest team of correspondents on Earth bring you the big picture, trust CNN to take you there live for the best coverage from around the world. Every weekend, day or night, stay with CNN and see what happens next.
CNN Tonight, join Connie as the clock strikes the deadline and time runs out for Saddam. What will happen next? Find out. We're live from the Gulf on the front lines with America's troops. Join Connie Chung, CNN Tonight, 8 Eastern.
Where the heck are you?
On the road.
Get my package?
Opening it now.
Yellow Book? They're here.
Yellow Book all over town. Everywhere I go.
Oh, great.
Yellow Book, Yellow Book, Yellow Book.
I told you guys, we're in trouble.
So you think we could transfer to the cell phone division?
After this, we'll be lucky if they stick us on poles.
With pigeons?
More people choose Yellow Book, not the other book. Call 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
The Iraqi-Kuwaiti border today, the site of several key military developments. Warplanes struck 10 Iraqi artillery pieces in southern Iraq. The positions were believed to be in range of U.S. troops preparing to invade Iraq. Also today, 17 Iraqi soldiers surrendered to U.S. troops in northern Kuwait. Joining me now from Kuwait City with more is Wolf Blitzer. Wolf.
Lou, as you know, more than 100,000 U.S. troops are poised on the border, along the border between Kuwait and Iraq. They're backed up by about another 35,000 British forces, a lot of U.S. soldiers and Marines. They're ready. They're just waiting for the order to move in. These troops have been gearing up, obviously, their entire military career precisely for what is about to happen. They're just waiting for the green light to move into southern Iraq. The situation there is quite tense. Earlier today, there were some significant sandstorms here in Kuwait, sandstorms that are of most concern to ground forces, especially attack helicopters. The sand could play some havoc with those helicopters. They're not much concern to U.S. air power because most of the bombs that will be dropped during the first 48 hours of this war, we're told, will be those satellite-guided, sophisticated precision kind of smart bombs that will be guided by the GPS satellite system, and sand doesn't have any effect as far as those bombs are concerned. Here in Kuwait City, remember, this is a pretty affluent, oil-rich country. People, though, are nervous. They're stocking up. They're going about their day-to-day activities, but they're also shopping. We went to some of the stores here, and they're looking for all the things that Americans are looking for when they get nervous about terrorist strikes. Here in Kuwait, very close to Iraq, they're buying everything from water and batteries to duct tape and everything else. But the Kuwaiti government is pretty confident that the U.S. military is going to provide the necessary umbrella of protection, and as a result, they're going about their day-to-day activities. Some families have left, but most Kuwaitis, as you know, Lou, they've stayed here in Kuwait. Lou?
The Kuwaitis are remarkably resilient people, suffering, of course, the Iraqi invasion in 1991. The mood there is what, Wolf, amongst the population of Kuwait?
Among the population, remember, these Kuwaitis, and they're strongly supportive of President Bush and the U.S. government. This is an Arab country that bitterly remembers what happened when the Iraqis came in, the 7 months of Iraqi occupation, when the country was effectively looted by Iraqi soldiers. They remember that there are still some 600 Kuwaitis who are listed as prisoners in Iraq. They assume they're alive. They're hoping someday they'll come back. They want this war to be over with. They want it to be over with quickly, and they're quite confident it will. I spoke with the Kuwaiti Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Mohammed al-Sabah, earlier today, and he thinks that the tip of the iceberg, the defections, the arrests earlier today of those 17 Iraqi soldiers, those numbers are going to escalate very dramatically in the coming hours and days.
Strong winds, as our pictures have shown viewers throughout the day here on CNN, sweeping across southern Iraq and Kuwait. The weather there now, Wolf, it looks very calm.
Well, at night, it's very calm. It's not very windy right now, and it gets into the 60s, the 70s Fahrenheit. During the day, it's up in the 80s, sometimes in the 90s. Right now, the weather is not a significant factor except for those sandstorms. If this war does last several weeks, then it starts getting really hot in April, May, especially May and June. But right now, weather is not going to be a significant factor.
Wolf Blitzer from Kuwait City. Wolf, thank you. Soldiers of the Army's 101st Airborne Division today made final preparations for battle.